Morning. So, everyone, what are we doing out there this morning? It is Friday, February the 28th, uh, 2025. Um, I'm out for my morning walk. It's 4:30. If you are here in this Eastern time zone with me, sharing in this early morning walk, uh, good morning. If you are, uh, let me try to keep this camera balanced. It is whew, not that cold this morning. I am just trying to be consistent with my morning activities. I'm really working on maintaining a discipline that we always talk about. Keep in mind here at B&B Finance Fixers, one of our primary focuses is going to always be on developing and maintaining that discipline. So, what does that look like for us this morning? Well, this morning, what I would like to share with you guys and talk to you about is don't be too overwhelmed or too invested in what other people's lives look like. Um, and the reason I say that is because we can oftentimes get the perception that everyone is having an easier time, everyone is happier, that everyone is enjoying themselves, that everybody else's walk is less challenging than ours. Um, and then that can lead to self doubt, um, difficulty, that can lead to uh, steps backwards on your journey, miscalculations as to expectations of where you should be in relationship to where others are. So never put so much, never put too much investment into other people's journey and how their journeys are going because your journey has to be your own. You have to travel your path. Discipline requires that you look at your self awareness and self accountability is going to be what's most important. So, on this walk this morning, I just want to encourage you to not worry about what others' lives look like. It's good to be able to draw inspiration. It's good to be able to look at others and pursue paths similar to the ones they're pursuing. What's important, however, is to also make sure, good morning, how are you doing? Is to also make sure that you're focused on your own personal growth and developing your discipline. Oftentimes, I know I've done it personally, I know many people do it. What we show of ourselves to the outside world may not be necessarily how we truly feel or give a true indication of what we may be going through, what our lives may feel like in that moment. So, what do we do about that? How do we live that? How do we go about maintaining our balance, self awareness, and self accountability? It can be a struggle sometimes. And sometimes you want to share that struggle, but you can't. Sometimes you want to be able to reach out to someone and tell them, hey, this is hard for me too. But oftentimes, for one reason or another, thank you so much, guys, for joining me this morning For one reason or another, you're not able to share that. So what does that lead to? It leads to a requirement for you personally to be self-aware and accountable for yourself, but also we have to care for each other. I cannot overemphasize how your personal discipline will require for you to also be mindful of other people. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of people hurting, a lot of people living their lives with a mask, a lot of people living their lives struggling in every moment. But if we're going to be people of purpose, if we're who are focused on growth, understanding that the cornerstones of discipline are going to be consistency, they're going to be repetition, it's going to be patience and perseverance. We have to show that for others as well. So we have to understand that it's difficult, and oftentimes we may slip up. We may miss a moment, we may miss a day, we may miss something, but we need to continue to get up, continue to push forward, continue to show that personal drive, that self accountability to ourselves and to others, because doing so ensures that we create a space in the world for others to care for us. Oftentimes, it's really, really easy to just care for oneself. It's really easy to poo, as they say, other people's problems. What can be what can be a challenge and what can be something that we really want to work on and strive to stay true to is the principle of discipline that is consistency. And that's performing at the same level on a regular basis. How does that help? Well, in relationships, because everything that someone's going through may not necessarily be made public to you, but if you're in a relationship with someone and they're going through something, the way that you show up needs to be consistent. So you need to show up with a consistent degree of love, a consistent degree of effort, a consistency that they can count on, because this is how trust is built. This is how you build trust within yourself. Repetition isn't the same as consistency. Even though they're both a part of developing and building discipline, they're not the same. Repetition simply means that you're doing something over and over and over again. Consistency means that you're doing that thing and you're performing at an expected level, that you're producing a result at a level in which there is an expectation that it continue and that you do meet that expectation on a regular basis or exceed it. That is consistency. So, how does this apply to the talking point of other people may not, that what you see in other people's lives may not truly represent what they're going through and who they are? It means exactly that. There are people out there in your life right now, whether they're coworkers, friends, family, spouse, brother, sister, who may be going through things. How consistent is your relationship with your family members? And consistency doesn't mean that every day for 5 minutes you have to come through and you have to show up. It just means in whatever way you do show up, you do it at that high level on a regular basis. I'm headed down a hill and back up. But how you doing this morning, Dixon? So what's important in order for us to continue to grow, in order for us to be able to be there for the people who are in our lives as we develop discipline is to understand that this process will require for us to consistently be there in a way in which we have set the expectations. Are we looking to do that? Have we reached out? Have we developed that connection? Do we know who needs us? Do we know how they need us? And do we know who we need? What are we doing in order to be able to develop that? One of the big things about discipline and one of the greatest ways to be able to make it work is to focus a part of your discipline and being in service to others. There was a really big statement that I heard from a gentleman named Myron Golden, where he says, one of the reasons that people have difficulty taking strides and growing is because the only person who they're looking to find a solution for is themselves. Only person's problems they're looking to solve are their own. When we change our focus from being about just solving our own problems, just figuring out our own things, just making money for us, when we change that focus and we allow that focus to be on others, we then present ourselves with an opportunity to change how we perform, how we show up, and the energy we put in the world and the energy that we get back. This is a discipline principle. So, thank you very much, Bruce. Good morning. And so, once we start investing into our discipline, when we start investing into others, and we come to a true realization that while we develop ourselves and we develop our own discipline principles, that we are assisting others as well. So, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting out there is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's something that I've added to my morning routine. And it just started out as a repetition thing. But creating this walk and talk for 4:30 in the morning is different because this isn't for me. This is an opportunity for me to be able to share. This channel is an opportunity to build a community that allows people who may have challenges in many areas to come together and share, to communicate, to grow. Trust me, I tell you, I know what it's like to be alone. I've been alone. Uh, not that good of a feeling. But one of the things that happens, as I said before, is how do we share that? How do we share what being alone looks like? How are we showing up to the world? Who do you know out there? And we all know somebody who looks like they got it all together. Man, they're fine. They don't need anything. They don't need any help. They don't need me. They don't need talk from anybody. They got it all together. And then we take the time to get to know the person, to get to actually speak to them. And then we can start to find out more about people. And we can start to find out that there are areas where we can be of service, where we can just be there, be present. Don't, keep in mind, one of the biggest things that I had to learn, uh, having been married now for 14 years, um, one of the lessons that I had to learn is that being consistent and showing up doesn't mean fixing it. That's really big because quite often we feel like, what can I do? How can I help? I don't have the tools to be able to do anything or help them. And oftentimes people aren't looking for you to have tools to help them. They're simply looking for someone to be there. It can be very challenging to live in a space where you have to always put on for the world that you're good, you're fine, and you don't need anything. So that's it on us as individuals to be willing and to be able to find people who we believe we can trust, who we believe want to be a part of our inner circle, and who we believe care about us. Yes, all of this applies to discipline. All of this applies to the principles necessary for us to be able to say, hey, uh, I'm growing. All of this applies to the principles to be able to recognize that not only do I have value, but other people have value. And I want to invest not just in myself, but in others. So don't put too much into what other people show you. Don't don't let what other people's lives look like dictate how you live your life, because we don't know their struggles and we don't really know their joy either. There are so many things available to us in life and so many ways for us to challenge ourselves and support one another. I would like to encourage all of you to continue to do so, to continue to understand that being a part of your journey, being a part of the world's journey, being a part of building your discipline will require for there to be others, right? There will always be spaces and ways for us to be out there. I'm really encouraged by it, guys. It's a major thing for me when I began to understand that discipline is not a motivation thing. Discipline isn't a rah-rah thing. Discipline is not the wake me up, you know, jump out the bed, you know, rock and roll gym music playing, get me pumped, which is all awesome. That's motivation. I spent a long time as a personal trainer. Trust me, I know motivation. But discipline's different. Discipline is that thing. Oh man, when you develop discipline and there's no reason to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, there's no reason to read another chapter. There's no reason for you to truly put in the work outside of the goal that you want to achieve. Now we're talking about discipline. Now we're talking about that objective driving you, that focus being the catalyst for the behaviors. That's why repetition and consistency is so important. Without repetition and consistency, we can't get through those tough times. That's the power of repetition. Consistency comes, but the power of repetition is just get up, get up. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes you you may not, but you get back on it. You get back getting up. You get back getting out there. I need to read 50 pages. I only read 15. Get up, get back out there. I need to read 50 pages. I only read 20. Get up, get back on it. That, that is the way in which we want to be able to see consistency build with the power of repetition. And that's a challenge. It's a significant challenge, guys. And if we're constantly looking outside of ourselves to find someone to motivate us to achieve these challenges, that's when we start to believe, for so many of us, that we're not doing good enough. Because David Goggins is running up and down streets with no cartilage in his knees. Yeah. Shout out to David Goggins. But what does it show us? It shows us that it's tough. It shows us that all you have when there's no motivation is that discipline, right? And why do we look to apply it physical first? Why do we look to apply the physical discipline first? Because it's the easiest one. It's the easiest one to set up and it's the easiest one to achieve. So If we set up this physical discipline, whether it's waking up at a certain time, doing 5 squats a day, doing 10 push ups a day, doing 8 sit ups, spending 5 minutes just meditating, we set these physical challenges because the physical challenges allow for us to overcome. They allow for us to achieve. They allow for us to build on our ability, to build on those small victories. That's why we have to make sure we found a way to look at ourselves. We found a way to turn our repetition and consistency into support for others. And we found a way to make sure once we do that, we keep doing the work. Discipline is so powerful, man. Discipline can take down walls because you have these 4 pillars, these 4 cornerstones upon which discipline stands, starting with repetition that helps build consistency. Then you get patient. Oh my goodness, man. Patient is just knowing, hey, what I want is just up the road. Where I'm going is just up the road. So what does that tell us? Well, when we know where we're going is just up the road, it lets us know we just need to keep stepping. That repetition lets us know we just need to keep going. That consistency says, hey, we can continue to perform this at a high level. There's steps we can take, there's strides we can take, there's growth happening on a regular basis. So we don't stop. That is how consistency and repetition work with one another. And patience is what teaches us to not stop, to know, hey, it may not happen right now, but it's coming. It's coming for us. It's going to happen. This thing that we're working on, this focus that we have, this development that we're doing, we know it's going to happen for us. And so that is a big deal. And then that leads to perseverance. Persevere, man. I tell you, once you get to the point of perseverance, at that point, man, you almost feel like a superhero, right? Because you can see perseverance. Patience you demonstrate on a daily basis. But perseverance is when it is that tough day. I was supposed to read 50 pages, but work got in the way. Children needed attention. My spouse needed me because a part of my discipline and a part of my consistency is making sure I show up for the lives of the people who I love. And so those things, life, as they say, comes into the picture. I'm a personal believer myself. I have this theory that life doesn't care. Life is what life is. Life isn't trying to hold you back. Life is just out there. And the people who deal with the greatest challenges are people who want things. So if you want something, there'll be challenges. If you're trying to achieve something, there'll be challenges. And you have to persevere. You have to face the challenges. You have to keep going. You have to keep fighting. You have to keep moving. That's that cornerstone of perseverance. And you need these all to work together in order to build discipline. And discipline is the foundation upon which we build success and mastery. And I say it specifically in that order because we can achieve success far before we achieve mastery. The American uh, public educational system here in North America, United States, woo, USA, let's go. The educational system shows you that you can achieve success and you can pass your grade level and you can get into your next class without necessarily achieving mastery. And so what happens is you move on with the gap. But the focus and discipline is understanding that I have gaps and I've achieved success and I am achieving and I am growing and I am accomplishing things, but I still have work to do. I still have growth to do because I haven't mastered this thing yet. And so when you start a business, you can achieve success. You can become profitable. You can make a mark and you can make changes in people's lives. It's a beautiful thing to be able to provide that. But there's a mastery level. Dan Martell recently put a short out where he says the gap for most is in reading. But the specific was the higher you go in the levels of success and the closer you become to mastery, the more you know there's more work for you to do. There's more work for you to read. There are more challenges for you to overcome. Don't look at somebody else and always assume that what you see there is perfect there. Know that we are all facing challenges. We're all walking through this in different ways. What we show outwardly may not necessarily be what we feel inwardly. So we need to be there for one another. We need to be there for ourselves. We need to get up. We need to get up and get with it. There are so many different objectives that people have in their lives, some big, some small, but discipline is the key to them all. There's no way for me to overstate that importance. I can I can let you know from my own personal journey until I began to understand the difference between repetition and consistency, I was stuck. I had the ability to do things over and over and over again. And one of the easiest principles that I use to share this with others was in my fitness journey and with working with my clients. We can put 5 pounds on the bar and you can keep doing repetitions and we can do them every time and we can stay at 5 pounds. That's repetitions. And there'll be some gains. You'll see some things getting moved. You'll see some growth. You'll see some improvement. I'm in the dark because it's 4:30, 4:57 in the morning. Sometimes you get up before the sun does. So I explain to the clients that we can put weight on the bar and we can move it as much as we want. We can be repetitious about doing it. But consistency asks for us to perform this at a specific level consistently. And here's what the body does. Here's how your body works, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. When you challenge it and you give it a challenge and you say, meet the goal, your body immediately. What do you need me to do? I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. But all right, if we're doing 10 of these, we're doing 10 of these. That's repetition. Consistency says, you got it. You can do 10. That took 85% effort level. Now, when we do 10, it only takes 55% effort level. I got to continue to grow. So I need to add some stuff, right? So what do you add? You add more weight. You add more challenges. You add more time under load. By doing this, you improve the ability of your body to understand that this 85% growth that we're doing until we do 100% max is how we continue to build muscle and develop. It's the same thing with developing discipline. You can have repetition and you can do things on a consistent, on a regular basis. But until the performance becomes consistent, until we get to a point where we understand that it's not just about the weight that's on the bar, but it's about the fight, the effort, the work that we do to ensure we achieve our goals. We have to meet that mark in all of those places. You look like you're doing the right thing for people. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Consistency, definitely. VBUs, am I saying that correctly? VBUs consistently. So consistency is definitely the important part. I appreciate all of you guys being with me this morning. I appreciate you taking the time to take this walk for me. I want to make this a regular thing from 4:30 to 5 East Coast time. If you're out there and you want to join, please don't hesitate. Please do. But remember, everything is about discipline. The four cornerstones of discipline are going to be repetition, consistency, patience, and perseverance. By developing those, you will have a foundation of discipline upon which you build success and mastery, guys. It's been great having you with me this morning. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys the next time. Y'all have a great day.